Hello, my name is Seb and welcome back to the DeFi Alpha Gaming channel. Today I'm going to give you a little bit of information, mostly covering Solana. Gerry does a fantastic job over on Luna, and to be perfectly honest, I just watch his videos, listen to what he says, and then I just go into his projects. Now you don't have to do the same here, of course. This is just not financial advice, it's educational, etc, etc. So first up we've got Genesis Go and their Shadow token. You'll find this on CoinGecko at SHDW. And just a little bit of an overview of this token. This token's all about decentralized storage on the Solana blockchain. And I've got a pretty big thesis that goes with why I think this is a great project to get involved with. Firstly, at present, the market cap's very, very low at $50 million. And if we zoom out and have a look at the charts, and I'm no TA guy at all, but basically it launched with an IDO and I think it was around $1.57, $1.60 around there. And it kind of bounced up pretty quickly to $2.20. And then it kind of came down. When it started to come down, everything in crypto in general was actually dropping. And it came down, and at these prices, this is definitely like a time to be accumulating it. And you could have still accumulated it until just last week at 82 cents. And then it just went on this tear up to $2.10 or thereabouts, came back down to $1.45, and now it's back at $1.62. Now there's so much information that you're going to have to research yourself to work out exactly what this token is and what they're aiming to do. So I'll give you a little bit of information and I will link to other places where you can get it. So moving on quickly, just the technical analysis side. This is from Michael Pizzino, his YouTube channel. You can just find it in the comments below. But he basically said with a very quick amount of TA, so nothing like too in depth, basically saying this is accumulation zone. It should bounce back down to like the $1.50 region, and it did, and then it bounced up. So me personally, I would like to buy some more now, and I will. And then if it comes down to the accumulation zone, I will buy some more again. And I'll nip quickly into why I think it's so good. Anyway, this is their Twitter right here, /GenesisGo. As I mentioned, they're building this decentralized storage optimized for Solana. They did release this Medium article here. So firstly, at the moment, there's Filecoin and Arweave. They're kind of the decentralized storage solutions. And Arweave only stores 60 terabytes as of the time of the writing of data in total, which is nothing. And they have a market cap of $1.5 billion, which is once again like insane, but 60 terabytes. It's pretty limited. This is kind of worth reading, but it's a little bit too technical for most people. So I'm going to give you my overall thesis very, very shortly. Basically, they're designing a system where you can host data on the blockchain, on servers, have it secured there, and you pay in the Shadow token. Now, exactly what you can put on the Shadow network in the future, I'm not actually sure. I'm sure it will be, at first it'll just kind of be transactional data, and then from there it could grow and grow and grow. Maybe in the future there's like a YouTube, a Solana tube type thing where all that data is actually sitting on the Shadow network. That would be pretty damn cool. But basically, it's super needed. And if we just go with the first initial thing, all of the transactional data gets put onto Google Cloud. So it's called like Google's big table. So all the data actually goes here. And there's a little bit more information on Reddit. It gets pretty geeky pretty quickly. But I can't remember how much it is, but it's just, terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data. And it all gets stored there in this one centralized system. Now, it's unlikely that anything would go wrong, but that's not a good system to have all of the past transactional data all there, because the validators, the Solana kind of processing network, they can't actually maintain such a huge amount of data, which is understandable. So this is why I think Genesis Go will be successful, because it's needed. And Solana needs it to be freaking epic. And I've had a little bit of experience, or quite a bit of experience, with Phantom, which was like the premier wallet on Solana. Still is, but there's a lot of other competitors coming and will take some of their market share for sure. And basically, they have a valuation of $1.2 billion now, which is pretty nuts. And their partnership with Solana and how closely they kind of worked together was insane. And they needed each other. And it's the same here. Genesis Go will be successful because of Solana and their fantastic kind of VC kind of venture capitalist arm that, makes sure that people are going to hear about Solana. And, another team could build what Genesis Go is doing, but they're going to be a year behind, or maybe 2 years behind. The first mover will be the one that will be successful, in my opinion. And there's a few whales that have a huge amount of Shadow, or they have a huge amount of the NFT which generates Shadow. So I really, really think that it will be successful, and whenever they run into blocks, they will be able to kind of call on the Solana devs, or maybe there'll be hackathons that can work it out. Plus they also have, I think, over $50 million in IDO money as well. Long story short, bullish on this protocol, bullish on what they can achieve, because one, they're builders, and two, they're partnering with Solana. And Solana, they're very proud people. We're all very proud people, but they don't want their technology to fail, and they need this. Now, if you want more information, go and watch Nox Trade's video. It's over an hour and a half, but it will be linked below. Okay, next up, Degen DAO. So if you're part of the Degen DAO, you can either have a Degen Egg, a Degen Ape, or a Degen Trash Panda. There will be merchandise coming out soon. And the Degen Ape Academy, they're still working on the next release of their own merchandise. So if you missed out on that, I'm not sure exactly how long it will be until that comes out, but this should be out pretty soon. So make sure you get some of this if you're after merch. Personally, I think it looks really, really sick. So get amongst it. Keeping on theme with the Degeniverse, Pit the Panda is the fearless leader for the Degen Trash Pandas. And he basically, he hasn't put a lot of information out on this, but there is like a token that's associated with the Degen Trash Pandas. It's called RAIN, and the protocol is called RAIN Protocol. And, we're kind of expecting that there'll be some sort of airdrop to the Trash Pandas, is what the expectation is. Whether or not it happens, who knows, but that's the expectation. And what you need to do, at least at the moment, is you need to go and vote on chain. So I'll link this below. Make sure you go and vote. You don't have long to actually get through that vote. What that's going to look like is this. So you're going to see this link here, and we have to reach quorum, which is like the minimum amount of people or votes needed to pass something. We need more than 6,000. So I'm not sure that's going to necessarily happen, but this ends in almost about 2.5 days. Thus far, 551 votes. And all it is just, let's send one RAIN token to the trash wallet and prove we aren't idiots. So you're not voting on anything super, super worthwhile. However, in the past, Pit has rewarded those that have basically done certain things, like held onto their pandas, not move them to a different wallet, and you've always been rewarded with extra things. So in my opinion, I would possibly assume that at some stage there may be a snapshot of anyone that enters with all their, Degen Trash Pandas and does a vote, whether it's yes or no. I mean, it should definitely be yes, but I reckon you're going to be getting an actual airdrop bonus potentially in the future. It's worth doing. It's worth doing regardless. What it's going to look like once you've done it is it's going to look like this. So you'll see your NFTs up here. This wallet just has one of the pandas, and then you'll do your vote. And then at the end, it'll say withdraw your vote. So if it says withdraw your vote, you know that it's gone through. Okay, next up, we've got Stepn. Now, Stepn is a play to move game, and I'm pretty addicted to it. So everything I'm about to say here, just remember I'm wearing bullish glasses. Like, I am euphoric. And whenever there's euphoria, you got to be a little bit cautious. So just keep in mind that I'll of course mention some pros and cons, but it's a little bit like, whoa. And when things are whoa, you kind of need to chill. I'm also a little bit late. However, it's still ridiculously early. It's one of those situations where anyone that jumped in December last year, January, they would be doing so well. Anyone jumping in now still has potential to do well because it's got some smart people behind it. I just want to cover it pretty quickly though, so I'll do my best. As I mentioned, it's a Movetoearn application. They're on Android and iOS. It looks like this. So you've got your application, you own a shoe, you go for a run, you end up earning their tokens, and then you can level up your sneakers, sell it for USDC, the token, or do whatever. And it's well thought out, like it's properly addictive. It's also, as I said, on Android, and this is kind of what it looks like. I'll give you a few tips, but basically you've got 4 different attributes. Efficiency and resilience are your most important. So they've got two tokens. They have the governance token, which will have more and more use cases, which have been released kind of 2 every week, I believe. This is GMT. This is obviously pumped considerably since March. If you got in, I believe they did an IEO on Binance, and it's up, 30 times. So that's pretty nuts. Even if you got it a few days later, it still did ridiculously well. And this is only a month ago. It's always nice to have a bit of a 30x. There's that. And there's also GST. And this is once again gone on a crazy tear, and it's up over 1,000%. So you earn this token throughout the game. And as you can see, it's been going up pretty crazily. However, just keep in mind that this is basically like SLP from Axie Infinity, and AXS is like GMT. And if you're not familiar with Axie Infinity, SLP went crazy, and now it's probably down like 95% or something. At one stage in the Philippines, it was so euphoric. That's where the majority of Axie Infinity players are. They were literally accepting like car deposits, if you wanted to buy a car in SLP. It was insane. I don't believe it's anywhere near this, but I could be wrong. Of course I could be wrong, but I'll give you a little bit of information why. Firstly though, if you're going to get into this, you're probably looking at around $4,500 for a decent kind of set of sneakers, where you go for 3 sneakers. You can get 1 sneaker, and you'd be looking at around $1,500. There are a couple of strategies you can use, and you should definitely use these websites that I'm going to show you. So the first one's stepn.guide. Probably the best strategy, if you've got a little bit of money to play with, is to go for a level 15 jogger. So getting a jogger is the best in my opinion, because it allows you to kind of walk quickly and then also jog. And if you've got, like I said, a little bit of cash to throw around, start off with a level 15 sneaker. So go to the marketplace on the application and buy something that's level 15. You'll start to be able to earn a lot more, a lot faster. When you're looking at in terms of what traits to go for, you go for what's the base statistics, and you can plug into this calculator, will tell you how much GST you're going to earn a day. The efficiency I would go for it would be at least kind of 5 and resilience 6. But ideally I would want these two, the base amounts, to be over 11 or 12. And then you click on optimize, and you can see just by owning this one pair of shoes, you're going to earn about 12 GST a day. So at present rates like $60 a day. Now if you end up adding extra shoes, so an extra 2 shoes to get to 3 shoes, you're going to have more energy, which would mean you're going to have 23.77 GST a day, which is $100 a day. But then you're basically putting in about $4,500. An alternative way to do it, of course, is to go with a level 5 sneaker and then just level it up. Once again, I would not be going just for a floor price. For my first shoe, I would be going for something that's decent, and the other two, if it was just to give you energy, they can be floor if you want to. I would be trying to get about 13 between the two. So if you get 7 and 7, that would be fantastic. Basically it's as high as 10 for the shoe that we're after, which will just be the commons. But you can also do other combinations. Maybe it's like a resilience is on 10 and you get efficiency at 4.9. That would be fantastic as well, because we're really just after adding those 2 scores together and getting about 13. So anything like that, you're probably going to get into the application. If the floor price for a level 5 jogger is around maybe 12 sol, you're going to have to scroll down pretty quickly and start looking from about 13.5 sol to look for the actual legitimate ones. Then when you come and you add 2 extra pairs of shoes, so it goes from 2 NG to 4 NG, which is all a little bit confusing at first, I know. Then you'd optimize it, and then you're making 14.19 GST a day, which is not as much as the other one at level 15, but it's still damn decent. There's another website you can use, which is stepn.wiki, and this will basically allow you, if you plug in all the details. Let's say we've got a good shoe here, we can optimize it, and we can see how long it's going to take for us to level up. If we keep on leveling up the shoe, we're going to do really well. Let's say we've got at least 4 energy, which is probably what we're going to have. Of course, what I'm telling you relates to if the token price remains the same. And I do think GST should drop a little bit, but I think GMT could come up a little bit as well. I still think there's a huge amount of potential in the project for quite some time. but I'll expand on that at the end. I'll quickly try and explain this, but spend more time on it, of course. I guess we should go with a level 5, probably be a little bit better. So this would cost you about $4,500. It could cost you less than that, of course, but you know, for anything decent, you're probably looking at, I would say, at least maybe $3,900. And then in 24 days, you could level up all the way up to level 28 or something pretty close to that. Getting up to level 28, then your net daily income is $170 or thereabouts. Of course, that relates to if GST remains at the same price, and then you're making $5,000 a month. How long this will go for, exactly like this, I'm unsure. I do think GST will come down in price, of course, but there's still like a lot of room in my personal opinion. Now, if you have any artistic creation ability, then make sure you go and enter this, where you can basically be rewarded with GMT, and maybe that can be your entry to get your own NFT. Also, keep in mind that you need an activation code to get into this game, so you can go and buy a sneaker on, say, Magic Eden. I wouldn't go to Magic Eden, I'll do it in-app, but if you were to do that, you're not going to get an activation code as well. They have like 1,000 given away every day. You go to Discord, and then there's a link, and you go there and you check. However, there'll be a lot of people in the community that already have a code because you generate new codes just by using the application, and you can just get that from other people. Like, for example, I've learned most of all of this information just by asking questions in the Degen DAO. So maybe you're part of the Degen DAO, we can probably get a code for you there, or you may be part of other alpha circles, or maybe you're part of other NFT projects, etc. So keep that in mind. But yeah, if you've got some artistic creation skills, make sure you enter the fan art, because that'd be pretty cool. And just an overview of why I think this will have a huge amount of potential. Now, I'm not trying to throw any shade on Axie Infinity. It was, you know, the first play-to-earn blockchain game that was really, really successful, and they've done a huge number of awesome things for the space. However, in some ways, they're a little bit slow to ship, and they're a little bit slow to make decision changes that improve the tokenomics of the environment. Whereas with Stepn, they've got all the past experience from Axie Infinity to work out, you know, what's going to happen with the token, what do we do with this, how do we add extra utility, all those things, and they've made it super addictive. So I'm not sure if anyone's played Axie Infinity. I've got some Axies and I have some scholars. These days the scholars don't even play it because they don't earn really anything. It's not worth it to them, and it's not addictive enough to keep you playing. It's too repetitive, too boring. Whereas this is fantastic. We live in this crypto world where, you know, if you're like myself, you're staring at a computer screen all day. In my case, it's multiple screens, and then I'm not getting as much outside time or as much exercise time as I should be, or socializing time in general. So something like this, I've got my Stepn app, out I go outside, I go for my jogs, and it's addictive. It's addictive, I level up, and I'm only new to it. I've been following it for a little bit, but only new. So remember, bull glasses are still on. Proceed with caution, but it looks freaking good. So the basic TLDR is the team is working with the community to do AMAs and town hall events, and to take on the feedback and then implement the feedback. So as an example, the GMT price has not been exploding relative to the GST price. So what did they implement? Well, pretty simple. They just added more utility for the GMT token. So you're not going to need as much of this token, GST, you're going to need more GMT. So hopefully we get a little bit of a balance out in price, and that would be helpful in the long run. Anyway, that's all my alpha for today. Remember to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with me. You're more than welcome to do either. So in summary, Shadow Token, Degen DAO merchandise, and Stepn. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you next time. Cheers.